You know that feeling, right? That nagging itch to just pack up your entire life and start over somewhere completely new? Maybe you're tired of watching your rent skyrocket every single year, or honestly, maybe you're just totally exhausted from risking a slipped disc shoveling snow for 3 months straight. Well, if you are, you're absolutely not alone. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, really fascinating shift happening across the country right now. See, in 2026, the Great American Relocation hasn't slowed down one bit. Actually, it's just completely changed direction. So let's dive into this and look at the real data on where Americans are actually migrating to this year.
So the big question we have to ask is, where is everyone actually going? We know people are moving in absolute droves, but the typical hotspots, the ones that dominated the headlines just a couple of years ago, they're kind of losing their appeal. They've gotten way too crowded, way too expensive, or just too chaotic. People still want that fresh start, but they are being significantly more strategic about it. We're seeing a really massive pivot here. The old, undisputed darlings of the relocation boom, we're talking places like Austin and Miami, they're hitting a saturation point. People are totally pivoting away from that hype. Instead, they're looking toward these hidden gems in the Midwest and coastal towns that offer true, affordable lifestyle value. It turns out, buyers are prioritizing financial breathing room over pure zip code prestige. Let's look at our first category and see exactly how this is playing out.
Category 1. Remote havens and suburbs.
Starting off our countdown at number 10, we've got Naperville, Illinois. Now, okay, a Midwestern suburb might surprise some of us at first glance. But to the families who track these trends, it is an absolute staple. In fact, Naperville has been on this incredible 3-year streak as one of the top-ranked cities to live in across all of America. So how do they do it? Well, Naperville uses this fascinating formula to attract residents. It's the ultimate best of both worlds situation. Check out this balance. You get this highly walkable, historic downtown, which gives you that fantastic, tight-knit community feel, plus world-class schools. But here's the crucial part. You are just a quick train ride away from the energy and jobs of Chicago. It's perfectly designed for anyone who wants big city career proximity without dealing with the big city chaos every single day. Moving right along to number 9, we have Boise, Idaho. A few years ago, the whole media narrative was that the Boise real estate bubble was guaranteed to burst. Well, spoiler alert, it didn't. Instead, heading into 2026, it has totally solidified itself as the ultimate hub for remote workers. Think about it. If your ideal Tuesday involves wrapping up a Zoom meeting at 2 p.m. and hitting a gorgeous mountain bike trail by 4 p.m., Boise is exactly where you want to be. It's clean, it's safe, and that unmatched Mountain West lifestyle is still its biggest draw. Moving into our second category, tech hubs and turnarounds. Coming in at number 8 is Raleigh, North Carolina. And hey, if you still think of Raleigh purely as a sleepy college town, you really need to update your map. Raleigh has evolved way beyond its collegiate roots and is experiencing just a staggering wave of professional migration. They're literally calling it the East Coast Silicon Valley now, and that's exactly what Raleigh and the surrounding Research Triangle have become. We're seeing a massive, massive influx of tech and healthcare professionals who are just fleeing the astronomical prices of California. They're finding high-paying, innovative jobs right here, and as an incredible bonus, they're situated perfectly halfway between the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Atlantic coast. Not a bad deal, right? Counting down to number 7, we land in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, I got to admit, I was surprised to see just how fast this area is expanding. Huntsville is officially one of the fastest-growing metropolitan areas in the entire country right now, and it's pulling this off by offering an incredible combination of high-tech jobs and relaxed southern living. They don't call it the Rocket City for nothing. While NASA maintains a huge historic presence there, this booming economy isn't just for literal rocket scientists anymore. The real draw? Your dollar simply goes so much further. You're getting a remarkably high quality of life, with a cost of living that practically makes coastal residents weep. It really is an economic powerhouse wrapped in an incredibly affordable package. At number 6, we have the absolute comeback kid of 2026, Tulsa, Oklahoma. If there's one city out there that proves how proactive local policies can completely change a town's trajectory, it is Tulsa.
Tulsa has successfully revitalized its downtown, creating this really thriving, cool indie art scene. But more importantly, they proactively courted remote workers with actual financial incentives. They deeply understood that post-pandemic shift in labor dynamics, where talent is completely untethered from geography. And because of this, the city has an incredibly low barrier to entry for first-time homebuyers. If your big goal is to own an actual house with a yard and you really don't want to sell a kidney to get the down payment, Tulsa should be at the absolute top of your shortlist.
All right, on to Category 3, Southern Charm and Sunshine. Cracking the top 5 is Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville has become a massive magnet, specifically for migrants coming all the way down from the Northeast. And why is that? Well, because the city center is like something straight out of a movie. I mean, it literally features a stunning waterfall right in the middle of downtown. Add in a massive, vibrant food scene, rich Southern charm, and housing that's significantly more affordable than nearby hubs like Atlanta or Charlotte, and you've definitely got a winner.
At number 4, we've got Ocala, Florida. Now, you really can't talk about American Relocation without talking about Florida, right? But in 2026, the it spot is not Miami, it's not Tampa, and it's not Orlando. It's Ocala, stepping up as the relaxing, lush, inland alternative.
What's super fascinating about Ocala is its identity as the horse capital of the world. It's inland, it's incredibly green, and it's heavily equestrian. It attracts people who desperately want that famous Florida sunshine and the amazing state tax benefits, but who are completely 100% over the overwhelming coastal crowds, the terrible traffic, and those skyrocketing hurricane insurance premiums. It is Florida living, but just way, way more relaxed.
And now for Category 4, the climax. Let's look at the top 3 destinations in America.
Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, Tennessee as a whole is a huge moving magnet, largely because it has absolutely zero state income tax. But Knoxville in particular has this undeniable scruffy cool vibe. It's home to the University of Tennessee, and it acts as the direct gateway to the Great Smoky Mountains. The migration data we're seeing here is just wild. Get this. For every 1 person leaving Knoxville, nearly 4 people are moving in. That level of inbound migration is staggering. It really just goes to show how incredibly desirable this mix of nature, affordability, and culture has become for so many people.
Coming in strong at number 2 is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Myrtle Beach has completely, successfully transitioned its reputation from being just a summer vacation spot to a permanent haven. In fact, it's currently the number 1 city in America for inbound moves by ratio. Retirees and young families alike are just flocking here to get 60 miles of pristine coastline and a community that feels like a permanent vacation. And they're getting all of this at a fraction of the cost of living in, say, Florida or California.
And finally, the number 1 most searched, most desired relocation spot in the United States for 2026 is Wake Forest, North Carolina. This incredibly charming suburb just north of Raleigh has absolutely exploded in popularity. Wake Forest really represents the new American dream. It offers this perfect, 5-star vibe for families, complete with incredible parks and a deeply rooted small-town community feel. Yet somehow, you are just minutes away from the Research Triangle, which is one of the strongest and most lucrative job markets in the entire world. It provides the absolute perfect blend of community and career, without forcing you to compromise on either one.
So, there you have it, folks, the 2026 roadmap of where America is actually heading. We've gone from the bustling suburbs of Chicago all the way to the tech hubs of the Carolinas. But you know, a map is really only as good as the person holding it. So I gotta ask, which of these lifestyles actually calls to you? Are you a mountains in Boise kind of person looking for that afternoon bike ride, or a beach in Myrtle person chasing that permanent vacation? Understanding these trends helps you see what's actually possible when you decide it's time for a fresh start. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep exploring these fascinating destinations. I'll see you next time.